All right, welcome back. So today we're doing another reaction video to a really cool real estate video actually that I saw on Facebook and wanted to show you guys and share a little bit about it, what I've learned from it, what I want to implement into my own workflow and production style, and obviously how you guys can do that too. So thanks for joining. Now let's get into it. So this one is by a real estate production company called DuocoMedia. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong if you guys see this, but let's watch it, react to it, and get into some tips. Super cool. End. So overall, super cool. I think I'm not sure how they did licensing for this song, if they did it legally. It's a song from the show White Lotus, which was a really crazy interesting show, both seasons, and I think it's cool. I think it's cool for a video edit. Why not? It was short and sweet but covered everything, made the edit look fun, made the house look like it'd be fun to live in, and yeah, used tons and tons of different shooting techniques, editing techniques, trendy transitions, normal stuff, still shots, time lapses. And this is one of the first videos I've seen where I actually liked how they incorporated FPV into the real estate tour. It wasn't a one-shot, one-take FPV tour that's hard to follow and not that, it kind of gets repetitive to watch, but I thought it was really interesting. They use it for showing interesting features in a unique way, and it wasn't taking over the whole video or anything. So big round of applause for this team for producing a really cool video. Let's talk about gear. So first, they list their gear on the description of the video, and surprisingly, it's what a lot of you guys I think are using. So A7S III, high dynamic range, great low light performance, 4K 60. They're using a Laowa lens for all those super wide shots. They're doing some of those trendy things like we've talked about on the channel. Obviously, this is a great setup for this type of production. I'm not totally sure what FPV drone they're using, but I think I saw on Facebook that it was some kind of custom Cinewhoop small little tiny drone, which is pretty much the standard for doing real estate stuff if you're flying in tight spaces and don't want to be risking damaging anything. You want something with those protected propellers. So that covers gear. Obviously, they're using a gimbal, could be like a RS3 or even a RS3 Mini, since they're using such a small mirrorless camera setup. For their detail shots, I would imagine they're using a 50 or potentially an 85. I think they look like they're a little bit more compressed. So that's what you need to get these types of shots. Now that we've covered gear, let's talk about a few things that I think they did that are really unique, that work really well, and that I think we could all learn from. So number one is what we just talked about, the incorporation of FPV drone into a normal video. So it's not a FPV one take fly through like most people do, but it is incorporating FPV maybe even outsourcing it from someone outside of your team to do a few creative shots to show specific features. So they did like a flyby of the front of the house that looks kind of like a normal shot, but then suddenly it flies over and like around the roof to show the really cool roof feature. And what I like about that one is that it starts off looking normal, but then it takes a really unexpected turn towards the start of the video. So I think that's really creative and works really well to get engagement up. And then the second time I think they used the FPV, it did like a fly through some of the trees behind the backyard. So it shows the backyard and then it flies through the back balcony and transitions into a zoom push-in shot of the interior, which just seamlessly edits, looks great, it's fun to watch, keeps you engaged and entertained. I think they use these really effectively to get your engagement up in the start of the video, and then they used it somewhere in the middle of the video to re-engage you. Okay, number 2, they used a model, but I thought they used them in a really clever way. They did a lot of still shots where the model was the thing moving in the frame, which you don't really see that much in real estate. Usually all real estate shots are moving, following something, walking backwards, doing all sorts of weird acrobatic things. But I liked how they did just a nice photo frame basically and had the model walking past. They did straight down shots from above when she dived in the pool. That was really cool. They did the classic getting out of the pool shot. Obviously it's a beautiful model, but they did not do anything creepy. And by doing that, I think that they keep the emphasis on the house and the lifestyle and how it's like a fun place to live, as opposed to everybody just staring at this girl. So I think they did a good job with that balance. Next thing I liked is how they used time lapses. So they did some to show the sky changing, but not that many. They just used them to break up the edit, I think. So really easy to replicate and really easy to incorporate into any video. If you do plan on doing some time lapses, which I really like to do, I think having those still framed compositions where the model is moving or nothing's moving are really helpful, because otherwise only your time lapses will have no camera movement. So the variety they had, I think, was just great, and they knocked it all out within a minute and a half. So I think that is pretty much exactly what anybody wants to do. So what I would do if I was trying to produce something like this as far as workflow goes is I'd probably just go ahead and get everything done first, just like a normal real estate shoot, and then have your model show up later, film all those shots, and then get the FPV shots, and while you're doing that, have some time lapses set up. So really simple, but a little bit complicated if you're doing it all by yourself. I think on the Facebook post they said that one of their friends came and did the FPV shots, so obviously that is a very unique skill that not everybody has. I'm currently learning, which I'm really pumped about. This is all I have so far. I don't have the actual FPV drone, but I've been doing the simulator a lot and getting pretty comfortable with it. Obviously doing that in real life, in real places, is a lot different, and you actually have to land it, which is totally different and risky, but I'm definitely hoping to get into the real stuff at some point. So pretty simple workflow, just like normal. But I think while you're going through and getting all your normal shots, you could be thinking about your ways you can incorporate the model into the house. So they did some really cool top-down shots. Obviously the pool is a great feature. You can show that off in a couple of shots just by using the person interacting with it. Really simple, a lot more interesting than just a pool with no people. And they did a few different things that worked really well with showing a space. So they had the person dive across the screen, they had them walk across the screen, they had them spin, but basically they used the person to do movements that make your eyes look across the screen and look at the different features in the house. They weren't ever really doing anything for no reason. I think they did a really good job being clever with those and coming up with the movements to where it's a really effective video for marketing. So anyways, I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope you learned something like I did. If any of y'all have any suggestions for future reaction videos, leave them down in the comments. I'd love to check out some things that y'all think are interesting, maybe a little bit different, and get into it. So once again, I hope this was helpful, and as always, I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Peace.